You're watching Passport to the Palm Beaches. I'm your host, Jacqueline. I'm so excited today because we are at world famous McCrays Backyard Barbecue and Seafood. They are so good. They've catered the Super Bowl multiple times. They're an absolute institution here. When you're in the Palm Beaches, you have to come and visit and taste some of the delicious barbecue. They've been making this for nearly 90 years. Let's head in and meet Derek McCray. How do you do it, Derek?
A lot of love, baby.
You're tuned in to Passport to the Palm Beaches. I'm Jacqueline, and I'm here with the world famous Derek McCray of world famous McCray Backyard Barbecue and Seafood. You have no idea how excited I am to be here today just to eat.
Oh my God.
It's going to be so good.
Yes.
But more important than just the great food, your family is such a part of the Palm Beaches history and has played such an important role. Can you tell us a little bit about how your family got involved in the community and into barbecue?
It goes back a long, long time. My great-great-grandfather brought Henry Flagler here, which his name was Captain Jack Williams. And he was the steamboat captain for President Harding at that time. And when Flag was trying to figure out how to get here, my grandfather was the only person that knew how to navigate these waters to get the steamboats in here. And he brought Flagler here, and that's how we arrived. My father was a great community activist here during the Martin Luther King era. You know, he's done so much as a bridge named after him. My great-grandfather was the first black sheriff officer here. So we've been entrenched in this community for well over 100 years now.
And given back to the community quite a lot. I mean, wasn't one of the reasons that your family got into the barbecue was to help feed people?
Absolutely. And the barbecue started with my Uncle Harvey in 1934. And actually our anniversary is coming up. It'll be 87 years that we've been cooking barbecue the same way. The tradition still lives on. And we've done a lot of stuff. My father really was the person that gave out a lot. He was a super community orientated person, and he cooked barbecue to feed the homeless, to feed people that didn't have food on their tables and with low incomes, and that was his role. And
very instrumental in civil rights.
And super instrumental in civil rights, in the civil rights movement at that time. You know, he got awards with Rosa Parks, and all the famous people when I was a kid would come through, like your Jesse Jacksons, your Muhammad Ali's, your James Browns, your Medgar Evers. I've experienced a lot as a kid with my father in the civil rights movement. And so now here I am.
I'm sure he's very proud.
Yes.
And of all that you've accomplished, and even bringing McCrays Barbecue to the Super Bowl multiple times. What was that like the first time when you found out you were going to be catering the Super Bowl?
It's hard for me to even say what the feeling was. It was so euphoric. It was something that I'm like, whoa. I told my dad, I said, guess what? We're doing the Super Bowl. It was almost like a Cinderella story. It was crazy. They looked at all the big places in South Florida for barbecue. And one of my classmates from college said, her name was Deidre Jacobs. She said, it's a little place on 45th that's got the best ribs. And so those guys came and checked us out. And the next thing we knew, we was in the front of the line. They rolled out the red carpet, said, this is the best. And from then on, we've been doing Super Bowls, and we've been voted #1 at every one of them.
That's so incredible. Now tell us a little bit about your special flavors. Floridian, I think you call it.
Yeah. Well, the Floridian flavor, it comes from my mom having some Bahamian background, and my dad coming from Georgia, and the fusion of the barbecue and the seafood bring out the Floridian flavor, which is the cracked conch, the conch salad, the fish, the red snapper, the pigeon peas and rice. Then when you get to the American side, the true down-home Florida side, you got the ribs, you got the beef brisket, you got the chicken, you got the pulled pork, the collard greens, the mac and cheese, and the baked beans and all that stuff. And that's how we come up with the Floridian flavor. This is Floridian. This is us. This is true South Florida.
That's right. Now, if you had to pick one item on your menu that was your absolute favorite, could you do it? Or is it like choosing your favorite child?
It's like choosing my favorite child. But I gotta give it to the oldest child, which is the ribs. Our ribs are signature all around the world, you know, so everybody comes for the ribs, and that's what got us to the Super Bowl. That's what built this building, is those ribs. So that's our signature is the ribs, but everything else complements us very, very well.
So what do you think's been the secret of the success?
Love. Love, passion. This is what we do, you know. It's almost like Michael Jackson. this is what I do, and this is what I was born to do, was to do this, and it came from my father, and it came from his great uncle, and it's just been passed along, and we love what we do, we enjoy it. That's where the success comes from.
All right,
Yeah.
let's get something to eat.
All right, let's do it.
Check out this incredible spread.
Yeah.
Derek, this looks amazing. Once again, we are at world famous McCrays Backyard Barbecue and Seafood. I don't even know what to try first because it all looks so good. But you know what, before we eat, real quick, you gotta tell me that fantastic story about how you carried on the family tradition with $100 in a grill.
Wow, and that's interesting because my mom was sick, my dad was really sick, and when I kind of came back from California, because I worked in Motown and I worked with Dick Clark Productions, I did a lot of stuff in LA, and my mom was really sick, and my dad had taken ill too, and we had people working at the little barbecue place in Riviera Beach, so I didn't want to take nobody's job. And I was broke when I came home. So I borrowed $100 from my mom and a grill from my dad, and he blessed me to take off, and I started working in front of the little clubs and doing little things with the money, and here we are today.
All right, so what do we got here?
Well, let's start out with the seafood. We got our world famous red snapper. We only use snapper. We don't use anything else but snapper because it's so fleur being is to have the snapper here. We got our pulled pork sliders, which is great. An awesome buttery bun that this thing melts in your mouth. We have our world famous Bahamian conch fritters, our cracked conch, which is awesome. It's fried conch. It's to die for. Then here, we got our world famous conch salad. See, this is what we do. Collard greens, baked beans, and here, this is what most people come for, the beef brisket, the chicken, the ribs, and the pulled pork. And we also have our shrimp over there and sweet potato pie and bread pudding.
Wow.
So this is what we do. This has been in our family for over 86 years. And we just carrying on that same down-home flavor. And we doing everything the same way. Nothing's changed how we cook. We cook it with open pit, with our wood, and everything, the recipes are the same. There's nothing changed.
How many pounds of meat are you preparing every day?
Well, we have the capacity to do up to 10,000 pounds of ribs a day. We could do, a lot more than that. But usually we're around 3,000 or 4,000 a day of ribs that we get out. Where do you want to start at?
All right. Gosh, I don't even know. Where should I start? You tell me.
We'll see you at McCrays!
Stay tuned for more Passport to the Palm Beaches.